another episode of SynCast, episode number 4. My name is Gaedien. Hello. We've got Syn Ansil.
Hi.
And we've got JoeKat.
Hi.
Yeah, so you have to do the verbal cues because I won't be able to tell like what the heck you guys are doing until like 30 seconds after.
We are top quality right here.
Hey, we're awesome. So I've got my little notepad here, so if people enjoyed my crappy drawings last time, I'll be making note of what to make crappy drawings of as we go. So that
the knot hammer?
The
knot hammer. Is that what it is, the knot hammer?
The knot hammer, a very loose interpretation of Thrall doing cocaine.
I didn't see that. How did I miss that one?
It's for Cocaine Fridays,
what the
man.
heck?
Yeah, that's for Cocaine Fridays. It's a
Good Lord.
I tell you what, I'll try again with that drawing and put it up right now.
Here, this is what you need to do in the description section. Put links to where you like have those drawing pop-ups, like maybe 5 to 10 seconds, like right before they show up, and then people can go there and like look at the references. Because I think those are because like for me, like I got to listen to it in the background and missed some of them. Went back and rewatched it so I could catch them. And see them in all their glory.
When I go through these, just because I tend to forget what we talked about 5 minutes after we're done recording. I just like any other podcast, I put it on. I don't watch. I just listen. So I honestly haven't even seen the pictures in the video, personally.
Oh.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
This is where we get the band hammer.
Yeah. Wait. No.
But no, that wouldn't make sense. Band hammer wouldn't make sense.
I mean, you can ban me from this podcast if you really want to. I mean, I can go play video games.
So, yeah.
So, Jay.
So, yeah, so I had the...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I had the portion on free MMOs. So, my idea about the free MMO stuff really... And I guess this is left to, interpretation or what everybody else thinks too, would be trying to concentrate on like one free MMO per week based on time. May not be enough time to accomplish what it is I'm looking to do, being that I only got to level 2 in Arcade, which is the free MMO that I was trying to kind of work into this series a little bit. So my thought process is, and anybody can make mention of this, would be to maybe do a set of levels, like take a month to do one of the free MMOs, and for 1 week do like level 1 through 5, next week 5 through 10, or whatever, to give us time or give me time to kind of go through the different aspects and actually find the time to do that stuff. And it may not be 1 to 5, it may be 1 to 3, like today.
So, what you're saying is that you're gonna start leveling like Arius and give us little chunks.
Yeah, little chunks.
I can give you a lowdown, since Arcade is the one you're kind of focusing on. It's like I was talking to people, I was in the beta, and I know a lot has changed since I played it. But I have to wonder, and I'll have to hop back in with you to make sure we're on the right server and all that, get stuff out there. But when I was doing the beta, a lot of things, just like the labor points, it really kind of made it hard for me to get into. Just because it was very much like Take WoW in terms of mechanics. Because, it's hotkey combat. I don't remember... was there active dodging? I think there was.
You can actually move, like if something's casting like a fireball or something at you.
Yeah.
It was more of a napalm, some sort of pixie-like character. I was able to move out of the way as the archer. I chose to be like an elven archer. And if you don't move as soon as they cast it, you're going to get hit because you're not moving quick enough unless there's going to be a speed buff at some point in the future. But yeah, as long as you keep moving, you can definitely get away from some of those attacks.
Okay. I just couldn't remember if there's like a double tap dodge, similar mechanic to like how Guild Wars 2 had it, or what.
I don't recall doing that yet, but I may have missed it too.
Well, it's possible it's not there. It's, all these games kind of blend together after I haven't played them in a while. But yeah, so I mean, the combat, okay, I think it's slightly more advanced WoW, since you can dodge instead of it just being auto hit, but it is still just hotkey. Which
Yeah,
it's a tough model to break. I understand why they're doing it, because especially I don't know how much it would apply to the company that made Dark Age, but I know a lot of companies are still trying to make their WoW killer by mimicking WoW. Like, they don't get that that's not going to work. But then they
it worked
incorporated...
for Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson killed WoW? I must have missed that album.
No. Where he reiterated himself, he made a new self of himself by cloning himself,
and then his nose fell off. So I really don't think it worked.
so maybe that means WoW's nose is going to fall off at the next expansion. I don't know.
I'm gonna have a hard time drawing that.
But anyway, so you got the mechanics are like that, but then they incorporate that whole you can build your farm, you can make a house. But the labor points, so it is really just like playing Farmville or any game like that on Facebook, where it's like, click here, and now click here to plant crop, and now wait 5 minutes to 4 days, depending on what you planted, and then spend labor points to harvest it, unless somebody else steals it, and then they might go to jail. That's kind of neat. I like that part.
They can steal your stuff.
Well, not if you have your own plot of land. No, but there are areas out in the world where you can plant stuff. There's specific plots that you can build a farm, build a house, whatever, and then there's other areas where you can just kind of plant stuff. And it's not everywhere, just these certain areas. Some of them are kind of hidden away behind trees or whatever else. But if you find one of them, you can plant your crops there. But they're not protected if they're in an area like that, so somebody else can just come up and take your shit. But in doing so, they'll leave evidence, as it were. Like, I don't remember if it's footprints. Then there's like the stock of your crop, and you can, if you get there in time, you can report it, or somebody else sees it. They can click on it and report it and see what it was, and then the person who stole it will accrue criminal points, whatever the system was called. And after so many, then if they get killed in PvP, or if there's, I don't know if there's some other circumstance, then they actually go on trial. Like, they're literally put into a courthouse, and 5 other characters, if you have to hit at least level 30 and then accept the responsibility, you can be the jurors. And the jury just selects guilty or not guilty based off of the evidence that's been collected. And based off of the crimes, like if you killed somebody else, there'll be like a blood spatter evidence, so somebody can record that. So that would make you stay longer. So you could be in jail for, I think the minimum was like 4 minutes, all the way up to, if I'm not mistaken, 20 hours.
Wow.
But you can also break out. Like, going to jail is actually its own mini game. Like, there's crates you can break to try and find a prison costume. You can find a shovel somewhere and just dig random holes to find some item. I don't remember what the item was. And then there's a guard... Oh, the key. The key to the guard tower. And if you get that key, then you can go up to the guard tower where there just happens to be a conveniently placed hang glider, so you can jump off and sail off to freedom. But you have a debuff while you're in prison. It, like, reduces your stats. And that debuff stays with you even if you break out for the full duration of what your sentence was supposed to be.
I can't even launch the game because my internet's so crappy right now.
So, look out, kids. Go play Arcade, and you can learn how to break out of prison, just like your daddy.
Wait, you have kids that play Arcade?
You have kids?
No.
I'm confused. But anyway, that's one of the cool aspects of the game. It does have redeeming qualities, but I don't know. I got up to level 20-something while I was playing in the beta, and by that point it's just like, yep, I'm playing WoW. The graphical fidelity, I'd say, was higher than WoW's, but the aesthetic was very bleh.
It felt...
Yeah, it's
what I've seen so far is very...
dirty It's like fantasy COD.
Like Call of
Call of
Duty.
Duty, where everything's just a different shade of brown. You
Uh,
know.
the one thing that annoyed me the most so far about playing is I'm used to, and it all goes back to Warcraft. I'm used to pressing Z and my character like reaching behind his back and grabbing his sword, or pulling out his daggers or whatnot. With this one, you press Z and suddenly it's just like your weapons are out and you're like this. You don't. There's no animation to pull your
Yeah.
weapons. It just switches your stance and your weapons are in your hands. That for some reason that is just like all this technology, and you don't do that little thing, that one little thing. And that honestly has killed it for me thus far for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm still going to play it and just kind of see what else kind of comes our way and try the farming and all that good stuff.
Let me know when you're in there. I'll hop in too and see if maybe my opinions changed since beta, now that it's all rolled out, and see if they've changed things. But, the aesthetic, I assume, is going to be the same, because they wouldn't drastically change the world art. And there's the crafting missions, which are, as far as I could tell, at least during the beta, pretty essential for money, basically. I mean, if you want to accrue any reasonable amount of money, you go to these crafting stations, and they're at specific locations. Each one has an item unique to it that you can build there, and it takes a lot of materials, like a lot. So you have to do a lot of boring-ass farming to get all the materials you want. And then once you complete this craft, it becomes a pack item that slows down your movement speed, and you have to carry it, at the very least, clear across the zone. And that's going to be for your minimum money reward. The further you go, because there's traders at all these different locations, and the further you go from where you crafted it, the more money you're going to get for it. But, so it slows you down to walking pace. Like, think WoW walking pace.
Days, 100 days.
Yeah. And, there are carts. Kind of think like in Silverpine Forest now, how there's that big cart being pulled by that Enton dude that'll run you from the northern part of the zone down to the southern end of the zone.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
There are carts like that. But, if you really want the good reward that's actually worth wasting your time, you're going to have to go a lot further than those carts are going to take you. And so it just...
Can you just, do a bus connection, one cart to the next?
No, because you'll get off at this cart, and then you'll have to walk over to where the next cart location is. And that's assuming that next cart's going in the direction that you want to go. I know...
So it's like Fargo's bus service.
No, because our bus system's actually not that bad. But it's
bus
I know the
time better
time.
Than Arcade.
By the time I got through it, and to that point, old roommate who got me into the game, he wanted me to do this mission, and he had here's where you get the maximum profit for this item. So it led up to us. We craft it, walk this long ass walk over to where this cart is, ride the cart to where it drops us off, take another long-ass walk over to a town that's in the middle of the zone that a cart didn't go to, so we could get up onto an airship, be carried over to where that airship would drop us off, then we'd have to walk all the way across this really big city. And it's just games are not supposed to be boring as fuck. And that's exactly what it was. It's just yep, I could probably, just set myself to auto-walk if I could point myself in the direction and somehow trust that my character would jump over any minor obstacle that got in the way. And just, I don't know, go make a 5-course meal, eat it, take a nap, come back, and maybe be almost to my destination. But they make it better, because after you've done a few of these quests, because there's quests that get you on this road as well, then they give you a donkey. So you can ride your donkey while you're carrying this pack, which speeds you up to almost what your normal running speed would be. Almost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't have a lot
that's
to look
like
forward to then.
primary method, at least during the beta, of getting income was doing these missions. And like my old roommate who got me into the game, he did them nonstop. Nonstop. I'm just like, how? How do you not fall asleep? You fall asleep during everything else. How do you not fall asleep during this? Seriously. The apocalypse could be descending and you would take a nap, but you stay awake through this? How?
Yeah, it's always funny to listen to people complain about having to farm in WoW and how it's so boring, and then they go to another game. It's the same thing, farming, but it's somehow better. Like, I don't even know how you...
I don't even know what people... I just like, I need mats. Hey, look, I found an auction house. Neat. But, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're out just trying to kill mobs over and over again, that is boring, but it's also not necessary. You don't need to do it. Whereas in Arcade, it is necessary. You have to do it.
So all these, attempted WoW killer games are taking the parts of WoW that people don't want to play and enhancing them, hoping that will kill WoW.
I guess. But can you even call it an enhancement? That's the part where I have a dilemma, because I mean, really, I know people who enjoy the game. Obviously, I have friends who play it, and I don't know if it's just not clicking in their head, because I know both of them, the two main ones that I know who play it, played Facebook games a lot before they realized, wait a minute, this is exploitative bullcrap. But now they're doing it just with better graphics than Facebook can provide, and they're just like, oh, it's great, nah,
So, how much like a Facebook game is it? Like, can you pay to get extra action points?
Yes.
It's just like a Facebook
because
game.
there is the, obviously, as a free-to-play model, it does have its real cash marketplace because it's necessary if they want to keep the game afloat. And at least maybe it's not still there, maybe it was just something for in the beta so it could test things, but I know at least in the beta there were potions you could buy that would restore your labor points. So, yes, if that item's still there, then yes, it is exactly like a Facebook game, only with browner but higher fidelity graphics.
So, Call of Duty Farmville in a fantasy setting. I know a lot of people who would pay a lot of money to play that.
Well, good for them, because they don't have to. It's free.
Well, right, but they buy those stupid potions over and over and over again. Good on you, Arcade. There is a market for you.
That's true.
I heard Warcraft was going to sell potions in the expansion. Some like XP potions and stuff like that.
That's not quite as... Well, I don't know. It's almost equally exploitative, obviously, because people are going to want to say, I've already done the 1 to 90 content 53,000 times. But at the same time, at least there's an end point to that. You want to level up this character. There is no end point to the Arcade labor point potions. You always need to farm. You always want more labor points.
True.
Who knows? Like I say, I'll hop back in now that it's out of beta, which I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but my brain just keeps on going over here, and then I start stressing because of money, because of switching jobs, and
Money sucks. Well, not having money sucks.
It's funny because I was just offered a raise and I turned it down. Is that bad of me?
It's incredibly stupid of you. Unless it came along with extra responsibilities.
No.
It was just, hey, we want to pay you more money, and you're like, I make enough money.
Yeah. Well, because I was upset, and instead of taking care of my problem, they were just going to throw more money at me. Like that only lasts for so long. Anyways, we'll get away from that.
Okay.
Oh, you can ask a question on it if you want to, if that's where you were going with it.
Well, is this so? You took the higher ground by not accepting the blood money for your problem. So rather than getting paid for them to ignore the problem, you're getting not paid for them to ignore the problem. Is that correct?
Yeah, they offer me
We're all
more
high
money,
ground.
more money and
Actually,
more
very seldom
power.
gets you anywhere.
But yeah, I don't know. They he kept telling me about some sort of white glove employee thing, which I know is getting way away from the hell we're supposed to be doing here.
Are you
So
calling
tomorrow,
yourself a debutante?
no, no, white glove employee is supposed to be somebody who like sees a problem through from start to finish, even if it's not their own problem. So like in any department, I see an issue, it like somehow gets in my radius, I tend to attack it and take ownership of it because everybody else is lazy and fails to accomplish things. So they gave me the discussion that 80% of most companies have those mediocre people who don't know what they're doing or don't put forth full effort. The other 20% are the white glove employees who take everything, run with it, just knock it out. They spend their weekends and their nights and everything else to get the thing accomplished. So we have a costume thing tomorrow. I usually don't participate. I was going to go as V for Vendetta, but instead of that, I went to Walmart and purchased some gloves for tomorrow. So I've been practicing my typing. They've got black fingertips for the smartphones. So everybody's gonna ask me what I am tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, I'm a white glove employee. Everybody's gonna be like, what? There's only upper management that's gonna get what I'm talking about,
and they will glare at you.
They will glare at me.
Wow.
Yeah, these are $5. These were actually in the women's section. The only place that actually has white gloves because apparently guys don't wear white gloves. I don't understand why, but
market trends are very strange like that.
Yeah,
they still fit. Just like guys aren't allowed
It's almost as if men's hands are the same shape as women's hands.
What?
Weird.
They got fingers and
it's
thumbs?
almost as if... Never mind. I don't think we're going to open that can of worms. We will later.
all that is an ARC age. Go play it.
Yes,
white glove
you could be a white glove employee and almost get into a conversation about sexism in the gaming industry, all in ARC age.
Yes.
Well, that conversation's almost impossible to avoid in any online game.
Are we going to tackle the Elite Gamer discussion tonight, or at least start?
Elite Gamer discussion. I should probably know what we're talking about, but apparently I don't.
That I guess the answer is no.
No, I remember now. I'm sorry. I knew that too. Yeah. So, yeah, that is ARC age. We got a couple levels in. We're going to play some more levels. I'll probably start from scratch again. Just so I can videotape most of it and remind myself later, go back and review it. Like, okay, this is really what we want to talk about. So we'll do that for next time. But anyways, yeah, ARC age.
I'll get some footage too.
Yep, and again, I'll have some footage to put in there once my internet starts.
Doesn't hate you?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It kind of sucks. I can't even load Warcraft. So,
what company do you go through?
They're called Mediacom.
Who's their owner?
Don't know.
Is it Time Warner? I bet you it's Time Warner.
Mediacom was supposed to be one of the big ones, but I don't know. I've been really sucking it up lately.
Google to the rescue.
I can't even get Google to load.
And then it's a miracle you're on Skype.
Oh, there it goes. That's right. I forgot. I actually have to type the address into the URL. The URL into the address bar. You know how hard that is to ask people to type www.google.com into
it is so... Yeah, I work support for a website. Yeah. Type our website into your address bar. No, the address bar. Just, okay, hit Control-A on your... No. Hit Control-D on your
ever tell a computer illiterate person to hold Control plus anything. Ever.
Actually, it's easier than getting them to find the address bar. Because their keyboard's right in front of them.
Yeah.
And I say, you see that button in the corner of your keyboard that says CTRL? Hold that one, and then hold this button.
I saw
Ta-da!
people who don't know what escape is, or forward slash versus backslash, or what the hell the start button is on Windows.
In fairness, I screw up the backslash forward slash.
Yeah.
I just know which one I have to hit. I forget which one's called what.
Oh.
Well, and with the start button for Windows, with Windows 8, it doesn't do as much as it used to. So
it brings you back to their shitty screen.
Yes, to their screen that's designed for a touchscreen and for a not touchscreen.
Yeah.
What were we talking about again?
Microsoft.
Oh, we're going to Google.
Yeah. Anyway,
it looks like Mediacom owns itself.
Yeah. There
goes my bet. Good thing I didn't put any money on it.
It is
founded. It was only founded in 1995. Wow. By Rocco B. Camiso.
Well, that's 19 years ago now. That's almost 2 decades. That 1995.
Yeah, I still think
I was born in 81. Don't make that sound old. Oh.
We're old, Jay. Deal with it.
Well, like I was talking about earlier, the kind of exciting news on good old games that X-Wing and TIE Fighter were getting re-released, and those were from the 90s. And
I remember having the diskettes
they
for
didn't
those.
age well, unfortunately.
No, they look like crap.
Like
I will be passing on those games.
Well, I was excited because I never owned those games because I, growing up in the 90s, never had a computer good enough to run those games. But my friends did, and they were like, no, you don't get to play it because I'm busy playing it. I'm like, that makes sense. It's your computer. Whatever. And so I was like, one day I will have a computer powerful enough to play these games. And now that I do, I really don't want to.
Because there's better games.
It says special edition, but they didn't make any changes.
Sure they did. They made it compatible with modern computers.
Yeah. And then they put special in front of it.
I'm like, I see here are bright colors. Like, the colors are brighter. That's like it. Okay.
And
it took a long time to load that, by the way.
Humanoid figures that are comprised of roughly 7 polygons.
Yep.
State-of-the-art graphics from the 90s. Now, to be fair, though, I remember way back when I was a kid, we had a computer, and I think it was probably a piece of crap even for the day. Mm-hmm. And mind you, this is like late 80s, maybe into the early 90s. And I remember going down to the grocery store that was just down the street, and they actually had like a cardboard stand, like the seasonal stands that they put candy bars and stuff on, mm-hmm. except for this was shareware games.
Yes. The shareware game stand.
And I bought, I don't remember what the hell it was called, but some dinosaur game where it's like, somehow these dinosaurs got transported through time into modern times, and you have to find them and then piece together with the clues what dinosaur it is, and thus what time period it's supposed to go back to, like the Jurassic, Triassic, Cretaceous, or whatever this periods were. Which is a lot harder than it sounds when your character is like 2 pixel by 2 pixel square. And you have this map that you can navigate, but it has nothing there to say, hey, there's a dinosaur here. You just kind of had to walk around until it's like, oh, hey, you found a dinosaur. And it's like, where? It was the most amazing game ever.
There was another game that I found amazing at the time. I still actually like to find it, although it would be much harder to play, called Inner Space, where there's an evil virus on your computer, and you have to fly a little ship around your computer to, clean your viruses out. And like it actually, the game menu going through the game was your hard drive, and you actually went through each and every one of your directories, and each of your directories was a level. And it was awesome. And, back in, 1995, when, your hard drive wasn't even a gigabyte, that was easier to do. Now, that game would take years to play.
It might as well rank it up there with, like, the procedurally generated infinite world games. Right. I mean, shit. Yeah, I remember mid to late 90s. Yeah, it was amazing when we got a new computer that had 4 gigabyte hard drive.
Oh my! I remember
4 gigabytes.
I remember when my friends and I would talk shit at each other because you got the 133 megahertz processor. Well, I got the 166 megahertz processor, bitch.
This is 20 years on. I still don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah. It meant something, maybe.
I've never been good with hardware. I know how to put RAM in. That's about...
What was the name of that game? Lord of the Realms, I think it was. Came on a CD-ROM, and it said recommended at least 2x speed CD-ROM drive.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that when that was a big deal. What
I had a 1x
CD-ROM drive?
Is your CD-ROM fast enough for this game?
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then you're not a gamer.
And I took my computer in to somebody, and I said, can I get a 2x CD-ROM drive installed? Because I'd like to play my game.
Right.
Or play it better, whatever the case may be. And he's like, no, we can't install those. And I was so let down. He's like, the only thing we have are like 16x. I'm like, I'll take a 16x. How much is it going to cost me? $35. Okay, sure. I was going to settle for 2x. I'll take the 16. They weren't very expensive back then. They're really not that expensive now either. They're around $25 to $45 still for most DVD ROMs or DVD drives.
Yeah, I remember my brother had a laptop that he did all of his gaming on just because he didn't want to use the family computer. And the laptop only came with like a 4X CD-ROM, which with the games he was playing, he needed an 8X. So he bought a 16X external CD-ROM for his laptop. I'm like, that really defeats the purpose of a laptop. And he's like, shut up, I'm playing my games.
Oh, really? I mean, a CD drive's not that big.
And, what's funny is, like, you didn't really need the CD-ROM to play. Because it installed it on the hard drive.
Yeah.
So, in retrospect, you kind of think about, like, I didn't really need that speed because it just meant it would install it faster. But there were some things.
But it doesn't install everything, yeah.
And
that goes all the way back. Like, I remember the first video game I remember having on that computer was Astro Grover. It was a Grover from the Sesame Street teaching you math in space.
Like Super Grover, but...
Yeah, and he's in a spacesuit. You gotta, like, do these simple arithmetic equations to shoot down these invading alien spaceships. Yeah, it was really... I thought it was pretty rad, but I was also, much younger. Much more simple-minded.
Yeah,
that was, back in the 5 1/4 floppy. You even needed those in there. You couldn't run the game without putting the disc in.
I remember taking floppy disks like that to school even in college. I had like
humorous side note. Anybody watching this, go to Google, or not Google, but Wikipedia, and look up floppy disk. There will be a photograph of, the progression of floppy disk, from the 5 1/4 to 3 1/2, you got it. That picture cannot fit on a 5 1/4 disc. The image file of that picture is too big for that disc. And we played fucking video games on those things.
I remember, because the computer lab time when I was in elementary school, on Apple IIe's or 2C's, I don't remember. But they only had limited numbers of discs per game. And I remember getting in arguments and friendships ending over who got to play Oregon Trail, who got to play Number Crunchers, and who got to play Word Crunchers. Friendships ending.
Wow.
Well, obviously, because who the hell would want to play any of those other than Oregon Trail?
And I was like, I was kind of there for Oregon Trail, but then the others were like, okay.
Well, there were some serious math nerds in my class. I wasn't one of them, I swear.
So that was a horrifying trip down memory lane.
I don't even remember Where were we going with that? Where did we start? I don't remember where
We started at Arc Age.
Yeah, we started at Arc Age and talking about the autonomy of MediaCom.
Oh, that's right. Then we went to Google.
Oh,
and then
because
we
your
went to-
internet sucks.
Yeah, because your internet sucks.
Some people
We're
make
great
art out
at
of
staying
out
on
of floppy
target.
who needs pre-planned content when you can just rant for an hour and a half?
I could rant.
So,
So I guess really elitist gaming.
otherwise we can talk about the Rapture is here. The Rapture is here. The Rapture is coming.
Yes, the Rapture is here, and you'll be forcibly removed from your home.
Yes.
Oh my!
That was a great 20 minutes.
It is an awesome 20 minutes. So
something I feel I will not be saying should an actual Rapture ever happen.
I don't know if the actual rapture happens and you get to run around and listen to H.P. Lovecraft. That's fine.
I don't think that's how it will go down. I really, I could
But if
be
it did,
but I suspect it'd be more like, hey, the end times are here, the battle's begun, and like the devil all being like, you don't get a choice. You're on my team. I'll be like, some bitch, we're gonna lose, aren't we?
I can just see that picking team saying now between God and the devil.
It's like kickball.
You're on my team. I'm with the tall kid.
Rapture
I'm
kickball.
picked always loses.
But I'm always picked last too. Like I'll probably, because my mom's a pastor, like Jesus will probably pick me last. Like, okay, I guess we'll take the obese tranny on our team. Whatever. Like, thanks, Jesus, God. And he'll be like,
hey,
It works on 2 levels.
Oh man.
Don't worry, I'll make sure to throw the kickball in your face.
Great, thanks.
Made me think of Red Rover now. I love playing Red Rover. Wait, no, we can't talk about back to the game.
So yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot you can discuss. I mean, beyond anybody who hasn't heard of it, it's just simply you have 20 minutes to run around to all these waypoints to hear narration of various snippets from Lovecraft's novels. I forget what all books. I know Call of Cthulhu is one of the books that passes are taken out of, but I'm forgetting the other books off the top of my head.
There were 4 books.
Yeah, there were 4 of them.
I couldn't read all the names because I had it in like 1920 by 1200. So,
but I've read all of them because I love H.P. Lovecraft.
I've read them, but it was in a compiled
compilation.
book.
Yeah.
And so, like, when it came to titles, I just kind of skipped over it, so I forget them.
Okay, 1 second.
Now the audio clips from what I'm calling the effervescent bubbles.
It's an apt description of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The different colored bubbles.
Got me wanting to actually listen to the book in audio form. Or any of the books. So I don't know if it was like I love these books, so I'm going to try to get people to like listen to them type of project.
Honestly, like I said in my video, which we can show a snippet somewhere.
Link right here.
And I'll put a link down in the description too if anybody wants to see it who hasn't already. But my takeaway really was I almost think, just given its short duration and how small the map is and everything, I have to assume that the guy who made it as kind of a practice project to learn the Unity engine. I could be wrong, but that's just the impression I got. But even if that is the case, I mean, it's still very well made. It looks very nice. The nothingness descending from the sky could be rounded out a little bit better.
But it's still creepy.
Yeah, but it's still, well, I don't know if I'd say creepy. I think the creepiest thing was constantly being struck by goddamn lightning while I was running around.
Like
every time.
I knew that lightning was coming because I watched your video, but like for the first 4, I would still like twitch.
Yep. It's like every time. It's like I don't know if it's so ingrained in my head that if I'm in that first person view and something shakes my screen, that means I'm being shot. So every time I just like spun around like I needed to return fire or something. It's like, no, that's not this type of game. And it's like every time. And then I fell off the map. That was, oops. Like
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Well, all I was doing is because, I wanted to, in the video, I wanted to show a little better. Because, as the darkness is descending, more and more of those little background objects start appearing that you can see, like the leaning towers and all that.
Oh, that's where those came from.
Like,
I thought it was from
leaning
collecting
towers
the
and,
different areas.
The non-Euclidean city just kind of sprouting.
And so I wanted to at least show a little bit of that. And I was like, all right, I got to kill some time here. So I just stopped recording. And I was just jumping around because I was bored. And I mean, whatever. I figured I'd play it again on my own time since I had already distracted myself too much while I was recording by talking. And so I was just jumping around, and I was right on the edge of the map, like I was in the video, just like running along the fence and all that. And it got to that area where there's little boulders kind of marking the edge of the world.
Right.
And I was jumping along those, and I guess the invisible wall wasn't quite up to where those boulders were. So I just right down this little cliff and put into a point where all I could see was cliff face. And if I looked off in the distance, I don't remember if I had actually showed in the video or not, if I looked that way. But, as you start playing, there's the power lines off in the distance.
I don't recall that.
Like the big
though.
iron tower type power lines that you'll see out in the countryside. But yeah, I could see those floating over nothing because they're just set there as, you're not supposed to see the ground that they're on.
Sure.
So they're just set objects and the world's just, there's nothing there. So I was like, that looks crazy, like Cthulhu. No, I broke the game. And I sat there toying with the idea, like, do I stop and just start over again and wait another? Because by that point, I had been jumping around for like 10 minutes. So I was like, do I start over again and get back to this point and start recording? And I was like, yeah, screw it. Just screw it. I mean, at the same time, it's, giving a little snippet of it would be cool, but if you show too much of it, that kind of ruins the appeal of playing it yourself.
Right. I found the stories, by the way. It's The Shunned House, The Call of Cthulhu, The Shadow Out of Time, and The Color Out of Space are the 4 stories. But, I don't know. For me, at first I was like, this is fun, I'll just run around a bit. But then as I, collected more story pieces, it was almost desperation for me to try to run to the next point.
Gotta get them all, gotta get them all.
Gotta get them all. To the point, as, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it gets pretty obvious towards the end that the end is coming. And, as I'm running, and I can barely see the line, and I'm like, I gotta get there. Am I gonna make it? And am I gonna make it? I'm yeah. It was an experience.
The music was really on key for the
absolutely
setting the mood.
Sure, and you can download it if you like the music. The guy who made the game has a link on.
To fall asleep.
Yeah, he has a. If you go to his blog, that I in my video, I put a link to it. He has a link to both download the game and then download the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Now, does he say anything about being able to use that stuff in your own videos, or
nothing specified? So, I think if you straight up just took his music and put it in your own stuff, that would probably be an issue. But
I think if it's embedded in the gameplay, as long as you're talking about the game and the gameplay, it's fine. But
I can't even imagine where I would even use that. To be honest, I'd have to have another game like that.
Where you use it to go to sleep.
Oh yeah. But I mean, in a YouTube video, I couldn't even think of. I don't know. It'd have to be a really interesting picture of some sort to add that onto. But
yeah, it's a great game.
It is, and I highly recommend checking it out. Anybody who hasn't, if you happen to be watching this, go just Google. Either Google the Rapture is here and you'll be forcibly removed from your home, or you can go to the link that's going to be down below to my video, and there will be a link to the download of the game. But I definitely recommend checking it out. I mean, it's free, and it's only 20 minutes long. It's an excellent way to kill 20 minutes. It's fantastic.
And if you play like me, you can extend it to 60 because you'd be playing it 2 to 3 times to get all the other nodes.
I've been waiting for time that I'm not doing something else where I can be like, I've got 20 minutes, let's do this. But because I played it once and I immediately want to play it again.
I didn't get some of the
nodes.
I'm sorry?
Just have your computer booted up while you're working and just spend your lunch break playing the game.
I could. Hey.
You can do it in windowed mode. Yeah, that's right. There's a windowed mode. Well, I say windowed mode because then it makes me think I can play it while I'm working.
You really can't.
Yeah. No.
Well, you could. It would just be utterly pointless.
Can you pause it? I don't know if you can pause it.
No,
I'm not sure.
I tried.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I didn't try too hard because I was like, I'm running out of 20 minutes and I gotta. I can't figure out how to pause it. But.
Yeah, that was definitely. I'm definitely glad I stumbled across that. I think it's actually kind of old. So it's possible that a lot of people have heard about it, but I stumbled across it. I thought it was cool. There's another one too. I'm gonna see if I can hammer it out and maybe try to get it uploaded. I'll be pushing my luck on that one, but trying to get some recording done and upload for tomorrow, which will be, as of this recording, tomorrow's Halloween. And
so it is.
And yeah, one of the other games I downloaded, just for the free indies, is it's called The Very Organized Thief. And I don't know if it's because when I booted it up, because yes, I was thinking try and do it kind of straight up first impression when I record. It's my first time playing it, but it just doesn't work as well in practice as it did in my head, because I need to know what I'm doing, otherwise it's not going to be very compelling to watch.
Right.
So I booted this one up just to kind of check it out, and I got pretty wrapped into it pretty quick. Like it's simplistic fun. Like if you hold Q, you hold up your little shopping list of items you have to steal from this house that you're in, and I don't know if it's ingrained in the coding or if it's just the version I downloaded, or maybe it's just the game in general, being this time of year or whatever, but this house was all decked out in Halloween decorations. So I was like running around stealing all this crap, and I almost don't want to ruin it if anybody's going to see the video, but it's hilarious because, like, out of the corner of my eye, well, as you're going through, I'm stealing stuff, and this thunderstorm kicks in, and it's booming louder and faster, and I'm just like, wow, this is a pretty intense thunderstorm. And then I heard a couple things that sounded more like doors than claps of thunder, but I was like, it doesn't look like it's a, well, I don't want to say high budget. It's obviously not high budget, but, like, I don't know how to even say what I'm trying to say, but it's not like a super in-depth graphically or sound quality. I mean, it's good, but it's not top-notch. So I was like, maybe it's just, some of the thunder sound effects I got are kind of crappy. And I go running out of the room I'm in, and I turn real quick to go down the stairs, but I saw something out of the corner of my eye. So at first I think nothing, but then I see movement again. I turn around, and there's a goddamn Grim Reaper coming at me. And just, like, hovering with his arms out at his sides, and he touched me and I died.
Wow. That's what she said.
So, yeah, I jumped. And it's
well, I knew the lightning was coming from watching your video, and I still...
Yeah.
When it hit, that first time, I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah, I knew that was coming, but it's kind of like going into a haunted house. You're going to get scared. Well, maybe you get scared. That was the whole point. But
the last time I went to a haunted house, I didn't get scared. I almost punched one of the guys working it, though.
Oh, whoops.
Well, no, he had it coming, in my defense. Because this was years ago, like at least 10 years ago. And I had won tickets to one of the local haunted houses off the radio station. And I was like, I don't know who to take. And I won 4 tickets. So I took a buddy of mine, well, 2 of my friends that were dating. And then I was like, I have this extra one. I'll take my sister. Just get her out of the house. Because she was like, 13, maybe, at that time. I was like, whatever. I'm kind of an asshole brother most of the time. Maybe this will make up for it. And I'll be like, here, let's go do something fun. But she got freaked out bad. Like, real bad. And it got to the point she started crying. And a couple of dudes who were working there apparently thought it's cool. You see this little girl crying. Let's focus on her. And he just kept on coming up. And I was like, I went into, like, hyper-awareness defensive mode. Like, I have to protect my sister. So I was like aware of everything around me, and I saw this guy coming up out of the corner of my eye, and he had like a couple garbage can lids, like he's about to slam them together. So I just turned around and I like had my finger like right next to his face. I was like, "You do not fuck with the crying little girl." And he just kind of, I said it with a lot more hostility in my voice, and he just kind of backed away. And I grabbed one of the other guys, just like, I know there's multiple exits from here because they told us that at the start. So you are going to show me where that fucking exit is. He's, okay. Yeah.
Well, he got his money's worth. Oh, right. He got it for free.
Who? Me?
No, the guy who was scared.
The guy that you scared. The house worker that you scared.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's the day I learned that apparently I will beat the shit out of somebody for my sister. So there you go, Jenna. You're not watching this, but on the off chance you ever see it, just know some guy tries to scare you, I'll break his face. For what that's worth. I'm still an asshole brother.
So, yeah.
That's my random story for the day. Sorry, I'm kind of just in tangent mode today.
Hey, that's cool.
You guys are coming in much better now, but my download speed's still 0.03 megs.
Jesus.
Nice.
It's like we're back in the 90s.
I don't know. It's like...
You might want to check the cords are plugged into your 56K modem there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I always love that. Do you have more than one computer on the network? Who the fuck doesn't have more than one computer on the network anymore? This isn't like the 1990s. Holy crap.
Let's see.
Which reminds
me... Joe's computer, my Wii U. I'm assuming you've hooked up your Xbox to it. My cell phone. My Nook. My laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 adults live in this house. If I were to do an IP scan on here, I'd start questioning who else is living in my house. Because I bet you I've got like 50 devices hooked up to it.
Sounds about right. We live in the future.
Well, and it reminds me of a little bit of the days in dial-up where you had limited hours. Like you could pay to have like 40 hours a month of internet time, or you could do unlimited. But unlimited wasn't unlimited. Because if you were just on your unlimited dial-up connection, eventually your internet company would be like, yeah, we didn't mean unlimited when we said unlimited.
You're going to never encounter that issue.
I did.
And I'm assuming you mean back in the AOL days?
Yeah.
I was on AOL all the damn time. Going
back
to chat rooms I probably shouldn't have been into. Making friends that I probably shouldn't have been making.
I remember, chat rooms was the first thing I jumped into. That's when I thought LOL meant lots of love.
I say it like that, like I was talking to creepers. And in a sense, that's true. But I was talking to, like, conspiracy nutters. Like, I'd go to the Coast to Coast AM chat boards and talk to all these people who were, like, hardcore conspiracy theorists. I'm just like, yeah, this totally makes sense. To my 13-year-old brain. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. And silence the false conversation.
No, I just seen this since Final Fantasy isn't loading. I just saw, God, that's not what I wanted. Something came across with some art, like some metal art they were doing. It kind of looked like, your copper, silver, and gold setup, but it looked more like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the action-packed football cards. Where they kind of have like the players are beveled, like they're popping out of the card.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what it looked like, was metal working, the art of Aeors. The Final Fantasy.
Jay's having a stroke.
I don't have anything clever to say about strokes. I'm sorry.
In case of emergency. Pull repeatedly. I don't know. I ran across that costume at the Halloween shop, where it was just a shirt with a sign that said, "In case of emergency, pull repeatedly, pull lever repeatedly," or something.
That sounds like
Anyways,
a costume that's just asking for an incredibly painful injury.
Yeah.
yeah, that was right next to the little girls' costumes and stuff. So I thought that was a little weird, but anyways.
Are you sure this was a Halloween costume shop you were at?
Are you sure that it wasn't, the Lambda Clubhouse?
It could
Or a
have been
van
little
that says
people.
free candy on the side?
Oh, that makes me think of
I don't want to know what it makes you think of. I really don't.
oh man, what's the name of that game? Hatred. Have you guys seen previews of Hatred?
No, and I'm not sure I want to at this point.
Um,
Morbid curiosity is
I
fighting
probably
my better
can't even load
sense.
it.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
There it is. I found it.
That just brought up the dictionary definition of hatred.
Yeah.
Now this has nothing to do with like pedophilia or anything like that.
The one where you play a mass murderer?
Yeah. Oh, that was on the site. So yeah, you guys probably already saw it on Facebook. My YouTube video's downloading just fine. What in the world?
It's a minute and 39. I'll see how stupid this looks.
How stupid what looks?
Hatred. I got the trailer pulled up here.
Yeah.
It's using the Unreal Engine.
See, I don't know any of that tech stuff. I probably should, but I don't. As far as, what engine is used for what. Like, I just...
Well, that's not really relevant to most people.
Yeah.
So, you've got someone with a gravelly Batman voice saying, "My genocide crusade begins here."
So it is literally a game where you just go around killing innocent people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to set back any opinions on gamers at all.
Yeah.
What
I'm like,
the fuck?
I think this is being made by a Swedish company.
Oh, that makes sense. God damn it,
not a
Sweden.
company, but a group, an indie group, if you will. I think. But it's like the totally wrong time to have a game like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there has been a right time for a game like that since school shootings started becoming regularly blamed on video games.
My brother, we were having an argument about it, and I think his is more or less just a troll, maybe because he likes to get me really pissed off at work. But he was trying to say, well, it's no different than Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, but Grand Theft Auto, you actually have objectives that usually you can go do that if you want to, but then there's meaningful objectives and things that move your story forward, etc. This is like just pure evil. And he's like,
and
well,
it's just,
he's like, you can go into the game
I
and
haven't
just stand still and not kill anybody. But I'm like, who would do that? I'm like, what?
I think this segues nicely into what we were maybe talking about. So Justin, go ahead.
Well, here's my takeaway on this: is granted, is this game even out yet, or is it still in development? I don't know.
Development, I believe.
But all it's showing is literally just walk around murder. I mean, there's nothing to indicate any story other than I'm brooding and hateful and the whole world made me this way, so I'm going to kill everybody. No, fuck that.
Voiced by Chris Metzger.
Whereas, like, GTA, you're playing terrible fucking people.
Yeah.
But the game revolves around the fact that there is a story. You are playing a horrible person. And granted, they'll throw in, like, the random comical nonsense just to bring brevity to it. But still, there is a narrative, there is a story. It makes sense in its own context. It's not just murder simulator. And yes, you can just go around, hop in a car, and run over whoever the hell you want. And yes, there is I guess, reward for doing so. In that, like some people might try to argue that the wanted rating is negative. Nobody who ever played that game thinks of the wanted rating as negative. That's when the game gets fun.
Yes,
But
it's
not
funny.
presented. Yeah, but it's even when you're off just wantonly killing these people. And I guess I can't speak too much for GTA 5. Is that the newest one?
I
Or
think so.
even 4. I didn't play much of 4 because the story of that one just kind of really started pissing me off. It's kind of like, there's actually a comparison I can make. At about that time, Saints Row and GTA swapped roles. It used to be Saints Row took itself way too goddamn seriously, and GTA was always just goofy. Yes, okay, what you're doing is horrible, but it's presented in a way that's it's not enticing you to do this in real life or anything like that. It's just stupid humor. It's not realistic at all. Whatever. But then at about the time of GTA 4, is when Saints Row the Third came out, and it's like a complete 180, where Saints Row just went completely over the top, ridiculous. And GTA is like, oh, look at our brooding story. Look at, Nico, he's so haunted by his past, but we're very bad at writing, so the story sucks. But suddenly, somewhere along the line...
Like they have an emo kid at a typewriter, like with the chimpanzee typewriters, but it's just emo kids.
Yeah, basically, and it's... So maybe they pulled their heads out of their asses for 5. I haven't played enough to know. What I have heard about 5, though, is that you cycle between the 3 characters that are pretty sociopathic. But again, you're exploring the avenue of, you go in, okay, yes, I'm playing a terrible person, but it's in a lighthearted-esque way. Not, again, this brooding, must kill.
There are some moral choices, too, as well. I mean, there's a clear, there's the good, there's some choices where, okay, you can take the good path, or, you can take the not-so-good path. Whereas this hatred game is just it's just evil.
Dark genocide. Blah, 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 blah.
It's the type of stuff that you expect all these school shootings to start with.
And that is the goddamn problem.
Yeah, but it's not.
Even if you take
the games away, they would have had something else.
Well, yeah, and take a kid who's going down that route. I mean, there's actually a chart now. I'll have to see if I can dig it up. Because now saying this without having a link to not the survey, but the study. Like, they did a study. You look at you chart the. I guess it's not even really a study, but if you chart the progress of, the increase in popularity and availability of video games, including the incredibly ultra-violent ones, and teenage violent crime, they're directly inverse one another. Video games become way more common. Violent crime amongst teenagers plummets. It still happens, and now, of course, we get very unfortunate ones like, I guess the first one I really remember, and I think it's the first one a lot of people remember, is Columbine. Where it becomes that they're doing much more than was previously shown. But then it also stems to, we're living in a world now where the media is instantly available at your fingertips at any time of the day. So we're hearing all these awful news stories. Crime's not getting worse. We're just hearing about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what sells.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's the problem. But they always want to tell you it's them damn video games to blame. No, Mr. Channel 6 news anchor. And it's your fault, media, not video games. It's your fault.
You said Channel 6 News. Did you know April O'Neil actually worked at Channel 6 News?
Yeah, and that bitch is to blame. It's literally like almost as if the media. God, I sound like some sort of conspiracy nutter, just going back to my coast-to-coast AM days. But it's almost like they give some sort of hero complex to the people who do this shit. It's like you think of any time any of these killings have happened, who do they focus on? The people killing.
Yeah,
they say, these 6 people died, but insert person's name here. I can't even remember any of the names of these assholes who did this stuff. But it's always such and such individual, enter his name here. Was he troubled? Was he this? Was he that? Everybody pay attention to this guy, this guy, this guy. How about we pay attention to the victims and brush the psychopaths under the rug?
Yeah.
Instead of rewarding them with the attention that most of them are seeking.
The celeb status.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, once you're dead, like, you don't get to enjoy that celeb status. So why is it so important to you?
A lot of them don't kill themselves.
Yeah.
Really?
Think like the guy in Colorado who bust into the movie theater. That was Colorado, wasn't it?
I don't remember if it was Colorado or Montana, but we're talking, the Joker guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Oh,
I guess the school shooting ones, I suspect a lot of it stems from, yes, they want that attention, but what causes the desire for the attention is probably a pretty heavy dose of depression. So that could I'm no psychologist, so I really probably shouldn't be making these speculations, but that would certainly explain why they then off themselves.
It's kind of like a blaze of glory mentality. Well, I can kill myself, or I can take out a bunch of assholes with me. And this is not a healthy line of reasoning. Want to make that very clear. Not a healthy line of reasoning.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that this is not going to sound like a good segue, but follow me for a second. I think that sensationalization is why gamers get a lot of of bad rep and bad press. Is that it's the people who are causing violence in real life or making violent statements. I don't want to get into Gamergate, but in the case of Gamergate, the people who are making death threats, that's what gets media attention, because media likes to paint a villain. And so, even though probably I hope the majority of gamers are decent people who don't want to murder each other or their fellow people, it's the people who are doing stupid shit and saying stupid shit that the rest of society are going to look at because, oh hey, I'm not scared of this week. What should I be scared of? Oh look, this guy. Let's be scared of this guy because they're talking about this guy. I don't know. Did that make sense?
No, I don't have the statistics. But it seems like these occurrences were less when we had couch gaming versus internet gaming.
Which occurrences?
Or maybe it's just the fact that they're reporting them more now, like Ansil was saying too. But it just seems like back in the day when we had friends over, we would play games on the console. We would sit on the couch and everybody would have a paddle.
Yeah,
we're less likely to. They would take out their aggression between themselves, whatnot, get over it, and come back the next day or whatever. But online, it seems to, since it's so anonymous, when you're playing, people are so brutal. Like my brother, they're as brutal as a brother would be to you, but then never, since you can't see them, you don't know. Like you know they're trolling, but at the same time, a lot of people can't take that kind of.
Well, it's because there's no face to the name. There's no name even to the name. Like people, I don't know if it's that people think they can get away with shitty behavior, or if they just don't realize how shitty they're being. But there's a lot of people who, I don't know how to articulate this, but there are people who are just shitty to each other for no reason, and they feel like I feel like they can get away with it because they're anonymous, because there's no repercussion, No,
it's the what was it called? The Jonathan Gabriel. Oh God, what the hell was it? I'll see if I can find it.
But like I was talking about a little bit the other week. Not on the podcast, but just between ourselves. Just it gets frustrating for a new gamer, someone who's new to a game, to get in, because people just in like, take World of Warcraft for example. It's not as bad in World of Warcraft, but in the random dungeon finder, if you're a new person to a new dungeon, pretty often you'll get some asshole who has absolutely no patience for you. Now, on the flip side, you'll have a lot of people who are like, oh, you're new, cool, I'll show you the ropes. But then you also have the people who, because they don't know you, they don't have to know you, they'll probably never see you again, will be abusive as shit. And I haven't played League of Legends, but I'm told it's 10 times worse than League of Legends. I'm using allegorical data there. I haven't played it. I haven't actually looked up any statistics, but I'm told allegorically that it's really difficult in League of Legends to get in as a new player because people just don't have any patience for anyone trying to get into the hobby.
The second, actually probably the third LAN party I ever went to in my entire life, they were playing League of Legends, and I was going just to say hi. I wasn't going to actually play anything, so I didn't bring a computer. They whipped out a laptop and basically made me create an account and start playing League of Legends, which I was like okay with, and they seemed okay with it. And as I was sitting there with my character and killing the non-player character mobs, which run in a straight line for specific purposes, I would get random elbow jab comments about how bad I sucked, but they were laughing about it to make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. But at the same time, they were being really pissy about it because, like, it's kind of like I'm on their team and I'm basically causing them to not be as good as they would normally be. It was very weird. I didn't hold it against them after I had done that, but it was interesting to go there and experience that firsthand. I haven't seen it since then, but most of the stuff I do now is play with 5 people against the computer rather than against actual human opponents,
right? Well,
which seems to be...
Well, and even in Synergy, we give each other crap, but usually, I think, based on my observation, it's lighthearted and it's pretty obvious we're not being serious, except
unless you're Arius.
I'm sorry, what?
Unless you're Arius.
Sure.
Yeah, she gets raffle stomped like no other. Anyways, sorry.
Well, yeah, those were the exceptions I was talking about, and I don't know if that's cool, but like Ansil, you were talking the other day of being in a raid, and Synergy is supposed to be this community, and then this one new guy wanted everything to be for him.
I know exactly.
Yeah, I bit my tongue on that one, but that situation pissed me off.
Right.
And I mentioned too much dirty laundry on a podcast, but...
Well, no, but that specific example aside, I think that's indicative of, I think, a big problem. People become anonymous. They think that they can get away with what they want without consequence. That because they've paid $15 a month for this game, they are entitled to play how they want to play, despite the fact that everyone else has also paid their $15 a month and shouldn't have to deal with your self-righteous bullshit, But that's my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with me because you've also paid $15 a month to play this game, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, so F you. Your opinion doesn't matter because I paid.
Well, that is your opinion, and you're entitled to it.
Yeah, when I seen that too myself, and just the verbiage that was used in that scenario, I immediately was like, "Who is this, and what in the world do they think they're talking about?" And later the person apologized for the comments and whatnot. But yeah, I thought that
I didn't catch the apology. I caught the assholishness.
Yeah,
and how vehemently it was defended, and that bothered me.
No, I didn't like it at all. And in fact, that's why I asked him, like, what in the world is he complaining about? Because this makes absolutely no sense. And that goes back to the whole, we want people to be in TeamSpeak, but then people feel they don't need to be in TeamSpeak for the events that we want them to be in TeamSpeak for, which then again kind of goes back to the, they pay for however they want to play, etc. But it's like the whole reason we keep talking about TeamSpeak because 90% of us are in TeamSpeak, therefore we will miss what's in chat. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
I don't know. It's tough sometimes with that.
Well, it just you need. I think the whole idea of a community is that there needs to be more community. There needs to be more respect for each other, and I apologize if that's just me being a hippie, bringing me being a dirty hippie, bringing my peace and love and flowers and sunshines into the game, which I understand that there's no place for love and flowers and sunshines in gaming. I apologize, but maybe just a little bit of love and rainbows and sunshine.
Community is a very, very vague term, though. So, I mean, we have so many different flavors of it. Like, we have the community that Synergy is. And that's, I mean, it has its very strong, at least I feel, in my mind, definition of what our community is. But then people like to throw, I mean, from my experience, like, the word community out whenever something's happening that makes them uncomfortable. Mm. Like, oh, but we're supposed to be a community. Well, every community revolves around a certain aspect of what that is. And I don't know, it's especially, like, to tie it back kind of like in the previous topic with the negative press that gaming gets and all that. It's always the gaming community. No, fuck that. There is no such thing as a goddamn gaming community. Mm. I play video games. Some guy in Kansas plays video games. Some chick over in Washington plays video games. I don't know them, never will know them. We have very different tastes. We do things very differently. We're not a community. We just happen to have one hobby in common. That does not a community make.
We don't all live in New York City.
That's true.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But that's just a stereotype is basically what it is. So.
Yeah, and then this is kind of just a disjointed thought process. I apologize. My brain is starting to wind down here. Just kind of going back into the thing you had mentioned earlier, though, JoeKat, with, like, the instance thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand it is obnoxious as hell when you have to deal with the person who's like, oh, fucking noobs, ruining everything. Well, it sucks. But then you also look at, like, the evolution of what Warcraft has become. There was a point in time, excuse me, prior to us having this click a button and in 5 minutes it's going to throw you into a dungeon with 4 random people you've never met and will probably never see again, where you had to put effort into even getting a group together. Mm-hmm. Then you had to put in the effort to get at least 3 of you to the instance, and then you could summon the other 2 if need be. Then, it required all this coordination, all this effort, and you went in, it was a team effort. Now, all instances is speed leveling to get to the upper tier content. That's all. That's really the only purpose they serve anymore. And then also a trial by fire. I'm going to try my damnedest to learn my class while dealing with a bunch of impatient people because all they want to do is get up to maximum level so they can run with their friends. That's all it is anymore.
And you get the tank when it's like your first time in, or if maybe a weekend healing and he wants to pull like a son of a bitch. And you're not comfortable with that type of healing, and then suddenly you suck. Well, no, that's just not my play style. Just because you feel it should be, or the healers that think they're godlike and get pissed because the tank isn't going fast enough. It's like, no,
and it's hilarious.
I know what I can handle. It doesn't matter what you can heal. If I can't handle that many, because for whatever reason, I can't handle that many, no matter how much you can heal.
I just found it hilarious, too. Like, leveling up my Warlock now, I'm at that point again. You can tell where reality sets in, albeit temporarily, at the end of vanilla content. Mm. When you're going from all these raffle stomp, just ridiculously easy instances where even a tank who only half knows what he's doing so long as he's got the gear can pull half the damn instance so long as that healer can keep up pace and just keep on spamming the hot. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you get to like strat.
Yeah.
And BRD, whatever the BlackRock ones are.
Yeah.
Where that's not the way it is anymore.
Yeah. No.
Now you have to know what you're doing, and I've attempted to run BlackRock. Well, like I'm not even singling it out. It's just queuing up for random 5 times. Only one of them so far has been a successful run, and that tank was a dick. Because I hadn't actually run that instance. It's the one where it ends with the Emperor. I haven't run that instance in years. I forgot what you have to do at the end. I forgot all about having to loot the torches to light the braziers, however you pronounce that. And this tank was throwing a goddamn temper tantrum because somebody else, fortunately I guess the loot never dropped for me, but got pissed that somebody else wasn't doing it. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, people. And it's like... But
and it's like
weird.
BRD, like there's like 50 more instances to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like,
but
guys
I don't know. Then it suddenly changes back. I find that funny too. As soon as you hit Outlands, then it becomes easy again.
Yeah.
Like I drunkenly, when I was leveling up my Death Knight, I just was plastered and decided I was going to try tanking because I was tank spec for a long ass time. I've just always been too nervous to tank because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm drunk, whatever. And I ran into Utgard Keep, the first instance in Wrath. And I was just pulling stuff. I'm like, whatever. Apparently, I was one of the most fun tanks those guys have ever run with in a long time.
Well, because I'm still just learning how to tank with my Brewmaster, and a good portion of the time I'm like, I'm new to this, patience please, and they're fine, and they're like, okay, throw a couple kegs, don't pull too big a group, I'm the healer, I'll keep you alive, right? But then there have been a couple of times where, I'll pull a small group, and then the DPS will pull a bigger group, and it's my fault, because I should have told the DPS not to pull a bigger group, because I have that authority. Of course I do.
You kind of do.
I see that a lot with
in a very roundabout sense.
Where they want you to pull more, and you don't, and then you just go freaking dot something, and then run back.
Yep, exactly.
Then you die, and it's like, well, you should have been able to take it. Well, yeah, I should have been able to do a lot of things, but that's not my play style, so I can't do that. Some people have those limitations.
I know.
And other people just don't want to see them, which is really sad.
But anyway, long story short, it is my opinion that I think that in general, and I know that to say the gaming community is a logical fallacy, I understand that. But I think that in general, people should just respect people, But that's just me.
Damn right, it's just you. I don't respect nobody.
I know. I am painfully aware of this fact.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of work too. Really, it's just like. You want to work with the people around you, and you want to ask questions, not because granted, there are some lazy people out there, but, just because you ask a question doesn't mean you're lazy. Sometimes you want to hear from the other people who may have experienced something or have a different take on it. But a lot of times you see people say, well, just you Google it. Why are you asking me?
Right.
I'm asking you because I want to have an interaction with you, have a relationship with you. Unless it's work, because probably I want to kill you instead of actually having a relationship with you. But
that's too much commitment, man.
It's just like, holy crap. When I was trying to learn IT, I want to say at my last job, which was still this job, but yeah, at my last job, which is a different desk, I was trying to learn some things, and the guy just would, always tell me Google it. And it's just like, well, I could Google and get any answer I want for that scenario, but which one is the right one for our for our company and what we're trying to do? Because I could do one of 20 different things. That's why a lot of people think IT is so easy. It's like, we can Google that. We don't need to pay you, what you're actually worth. And go ahead and Google it, pick one of those answers, and then call me in the morning and let me know if it worked out for you. Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you right away, that the number 5 through 20 it's going to completely break your system.
Sure.
For what you're trying to do.
Well, right, and like I run into that at my job sometimes. They're like, "You know what the answer is?" I'm like, "Yes, I know what the correct answer is. What's the customer-facing answer? Because it's broke, we can't fix it. Is not a good customer-facing answer." You know.
Last year? I think it was last year. Time, I guess, really is irrelevant. But I had one scenario at work where this client called in, and she was actually the controller, which is like the manager, or like right below the owner of an automobile dealership. It controls all the departments, etc. And she was upset because they kept getting disconnected from their server, which actually isn't on site at their dealership physically. It's in a data center somewhere. Well, during that time, there were some attacks from overseas on what are known as Juniper routers. So that affects the heavy hitters of the internet, which then, of course, when the heavy hitters are affected, it's going to affect all the other lower ones like Mediacom and Comcast and all that other stuff. Well, Comcast actually is kind of big. But this person flipped out on me, and she's like, "That is not an answer." I'm like, well, the next step is for you to call the White House and ask to speak to President Obama and see what else there is that he can do to help you with the scenario, because it's literally out of my hands. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a front-facing, customer-facing answer. I thought it was humorous. She didn't laugh.
Okay, so I work at a bank. I won't tell you which bank, but there are times when we cannot do something because there's federal regulation, and a customer says, "I want this fixed. I want this fixed right now. How do I fix this?" And it's very tempting. And some of my supervisors have told me to give them this answer: call your congressman. Because that's the only way it's getting fixed, is to change the banking regulation.
I see nothing wrong with that answer. Granted, I have a feeling. Like that answer. Yeah, some customers need to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them.
They don't like that answer either.
And it's always funny because, like, we have other people on our team, some of them that are like quite older than I am, but like 20 to 30 years. And they'll complain about how our users treat us, including those who work for us, because we have people we're supposed to treat as clients in our company who aren't IT-based, which is funny because it's an IT company. Anyways, how he complains about how they treat us, and then he'll call Dell up, and he'll nail their customer reps to a wall about how like shitty their site is, and I can't believe I'm an awesome customer. You should treat me better than this and this. And then we're just all like shaking our heads like, dude, really? You just complained about somebody else treating you that same way, and then you call somebody up and you do the exact same thing. Like, so confusing.
Yeah. I
have no clue where I was going with that, but yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
So, but speaking of customers not getting what they want, the new Silent Hills game for PS4. That is the name of the game. They just added an S at the end. Just released a warning that, we're not going to tone the game down hoping that you'll keep playing it rather than be scared. We're going to try to make it as scary as hell. And if you stop playing because it's too scary for you, too bad.
That's a pretty bold claim for them, since they've progressively got less and less scary.
Yeah, they're apparently saying we're sick and tired of doing that. We're going to.
The only thing that made them scary in the early ones was tech limitations.
Yeah.
That's what made it so great, is like that fog. That fog wasn't there as... obviously the way they designed it was an ambient choice, but they had to have it there because the systems couldn't render the rest of the world.
Well, apparently, and this is just based off an article I'm reading now, apparently they're adding the fog back in and other things to make it more scary, and they're adding Norman Reedus to pull in fangirls. Yay, Norman Reedus!
I'm just going to have to smile and nod my head because I haven't played any of them. I did watch the movie, and I thought the movie was a little weird. I like the part where that huge giant with the stretched metal face ripped the skin off that chick. Pyramid Head, yeah, just ripped the skin off of her and threw it at the church building. Insert clip here.
I think
No,
No,
that would be a
that'd be
copyright.
copyright.
yeah, because we're not talking about the film critically, so fair use does not apply.
Hey, I'm critically acclaimed, y'all.
That's not the same as. Never mind. But yeah. Anyway. But yeah. I don't know. Norman Reedus is going to be in the next Silent Hill game, and I don't know. I like Norman Reedus because I'm a fangirl. But yeah. Next topic, or wrap it
Next
up.
topic is it's 11:15.
Next topic is 11:15. But yeah. So next time we'll talk. What the? That's scary. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh God. Oh God. Ah. 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 Stop that. Ansel, stop that.
Oh, that's a perfect picture. That's an avatar picture right there.
Anyway, so next week we'll talk a little bit more about Arcade. I assume.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go from 3 to level 5 at least.
Maybe talk about another indie game we can all play.
Oh yeah.
I have a list of them.
And more ranty rants.
Oh, did you look how long my eyelashes are? Did you see that?
They're very beautiful. Good job, Jay.
You're a very strange man. Bye!
I'm JoeKat. And
Jay.
you are? Okay, fine.
Everybody knows who I am.
Oh,
That's Jay.
this is Sin Ansil. He's one of these, and this is Sin Shadian. So
All right.
we'll catch you guys later.
Bye!